Hi, everybody. I kind of can't believe I'm standing up here right now, so just kind of taking it all in. First of all, I would just like to say that if you happen to take a picture of me while I'm up here, you can tweet that out to Taylor Swift. Her Twitter handle is @TaylorSwift13. The more pictures we flood her with, I feel like that's a good thing. She's kind of a rock star. I feel kind of like a rock star right now. I have to say, I never really intended on standing here in front of you. This speech was written back in January when I got laryngitis one day at school. My students got tired of me communicating through PowerPoint all day long, so they told me to go home. And while at home, I definitely needed to declutter my mind from just life that was happening. And so I pulled out my iPhone, and in my notes section, I started typing, and out came somewhat of a rough draft of this speech. My really good friend Reagan McGinnis, she helped me edit and revise frantically because the due date for submissions was the next day. So she indulged my last minute whim of creativity, and I hit submit at 11:30 p.m. when it was due at midnight, so that's how I got here. All that to say, I am really thankful that AVID Center chose my story to share with you today, because I didn't really think it was going to happen. But thank you for this overwhelming opportunity. I want to thank my USD 259 and Wichita North High family. The administrators, staff, and students have given me an amazing place to grow as an educator. Two women have mentored me along the way, Sarah Richardson, who drove all the way from Wichita, Kansas. Thank you for showing me what it means to be a leader and fighting for students who oftentimes go unnoticed. I also want to thank Reagan McGinnis for helping me grow as a leader and giving me the courage to actually fight for these students year after year when I sometimes didn't know what to do. To my AVID class, I just want to say thank you for letting me learn right alongside with you, because we learned a lot together. God used 3 young men to help me realize my passion for teaching and kind of led me to apply for the AVID program as a teacher. So Marco, Jose, and Francois, they are back in Wichita, but thank you so much for letting me barge into your lives and into your families, whether you really wanted me to or not. You are more valuable to me today than you were 5 years ago when you walked into my classroom. Lastly, I want to thank my parents who are front and center here. They drove all the way from Wichita, Kansas, through all the rock slide cleanup and everything. My dad and mom have taught me how to be an AVID mom, how to be an AVID parent. My dad taught me how to set expectations high and how to face the inevitable challenges that come after that. And my mom taught me how to be the most loyal and supportive fan on any sideline with a smile on my face. She sat through so many games, concerts, I cannot even tell you, for my siblings and I, there's 4 of us in all. But she sat through everything, rain, shine, snow, sleet, or heat. It didn't matter, she was there. So I'm definitely not standing up here alone today. So here's my story. 1, it can be a powerful number, a number of strength, determination, and purpose. As educators, we often talk about the challenge of reaching 1 student at a time. There's a beautiful truth to this idea. It's often what keeps us going year after year. However, this idea of 1 becomes daunting, exhausting, and dangerously intoxicating. That's exactly why I am so glad AVID took over my teaching career when it did. I was oblivious to the power 1 college preparation program would actually have on my teaching philosophy. When I first started teaching, I was all about reaching 1 student at a time. You could probably say I was an AVID teacher before I ever started teaching AVID. In my first 3 years of teaching, I realized the students most of my peers labeled as those students wound up on my radar. Some were students I actually had in class. Others I simply connected with in the hallway while signing their detention slip asking them to pull up their sagging pants, or putting their phones away because they wouldn't need them today in school. Either way, I was hell-bent, in the sweetest way possible, to help them navigate their way through high school whether they wanted my assistance or not. When our paths crossed again, which was a common occurrence for those hallway students, I made it clear I was not going away easily. I began checking on their grades and emailing teachers about missing assignments. I even did the unthinkable in this sometimes isolated world of teaching. I invited myself into other teachers' classrooms just to check on progress and attendance. I arranged meetings with their counselors to review transcripts. I walked them to class for the occasional pep talk, which was really code to just make sure they got there. I even had parent meetings on the sideline fence at football games. Not only had I become popular with those students as I was stalking them in the hallways and their classrooms, but the fruits of my labor also made me quite popular in the eyes of other teachers. Teachers who also had those students in class, but for whatever reason, struggled to connect with them. Our conversations typically started with, "Hey, Miss Johnson, guess what your boy did in class today?" And concluded with, "Maybe you could talk to him or something?" In those first 3 years, I ran around like a chicken with my head cut off as I was arguing, pleading, and advocating for those students one at a time. It was exhilarating but exhausting. It was in the same year of teaching I finally conquered my fear of overcommitting myself. I applied to become an AVID teacher. This 4-year commitment brings me to present day, where I just recently watched my first AVID class walk across that graduation stage. We all survived. Over the last 4 years, I gained a new perspective on the power of one. It turns out I'm just like those students I go to bat for and butt heads with on a daily basis. Like them, I am more successful at everything when I have a strong support system backing me up on every leg of this unpredictable marathon. Most days seem like a marathon. I am thankful that with AVID, it's a package deal. One new class of fresh AVID students comes with one amazing AVID site team. You see, the power of one person is like a flashbang. You're temporarily blinded, deaf. The flash is gone, burned out, leaving very little impact. But the power of one team can leave a deeper, more lasting impact. As AVID elective teachers, we hope and we pray that all our efforts create a family environment within the walls of our AVID classroom, because so many of our students lack a piece of this at home. Some days this seems closer to reality than others. We are convinced the family structure will help our students learn better. I believe the same is true for us as educators. In order for me to grow as a professional, I too needed an AVID family. I needed the Rocky Balboa of all counselors to come in and mediate that bullying tiff between two of my AVID newbies when I had no idea what in the heck to do with them. I needed the bad cop counselor to play off my good cop stance when my kids needed a compassionate but firm no. As they begged to leave the honors and AP classes they were convinced they couldn't do. My students laughed at that part too. I needed the deliriously gut-wrenching laughter we found as a team at summer institutes. I needed the steady and firm administrator sitting across from that senior shooting him straight truth about his graduation credits on the line. I even needed that administrator's box of tissues when this proud, stubborn young man broke down into tears. I needed those two other elective teachers with me on all those field trips where buses broke down and we played team builders in the gas station parking lot. Or when we told scary stories on the 4-hour ride home just to calm those crazy kids at midnight. I needed that AVID coordinator to look me in the eye and give me a pep talk of my own before I confronted my peers with hard conversations as to why my AVID students belonged in their AP classes, even if they needed a little extra help. I needed company as we lived out our roles as AVID parents at all those basketball games, football games, soccer games, track meets, choir concerts, JROTC meets, dance team showcases, and Powder Puff football games. I needed the AVID elective teachers to break down and say, "Do you ever just feel like you don't know what you're doing?" And for me to say, "Yes, I am so glad I am not alone." I needed the voice of reason in my head when I was faced with student drama that left me blindsided and breathless. I needed the voice of that AVID elective teacher across the hall saying, "Lead with love, Brooke. Lead with love." This phrase ran through my mind as I sat in a room of 24 seniors moderating a discussion about the dangerous effects of depression. I knew that when I was sitting across from one precious young girl on her couch at home, listening as she talked me through her attempted suicide, I was not alone. I knew when I had my own anxiety attack and began the battle of my own life-induced depression, I was never alone. There were AVID site team members, people I count on, who took my hand and walked each step with me. They know from experience that no AVID family is perfect. I'm supposed to be the fearless leader of the 25 AVID students I call family. I'm supposed to teach them the ins and outs of high school and college. They have gracefully given me a much bigger gift than I could ever give them. This gift goes beyond the endless laughter we found as a class at every social gathering, which was definitely not a party where they brought food into my no-food zone classroom. It goes beyond the laughter we found at every point they pleaded for a Miss Johnson fun fact of the day in hopes of digging up my mysterious secrets. Or every college field trip where a certain student kept his eyes open in a well-meaning but extremely embarrassing way in hopes of finding me a date. Welcome to the life of a single AVID mom. Their gift goes beyond the carefree joy of Taylor Swift sing-alongs, AVID family dances at prom, surprise birthday presents, or FaceTime phone calls, and even those pet ducks they surprised me with at their AVID senior banquet, Quaker and Oats. 2 goldfish were to follow. Instead, they have given me the courage to admit I cannot do everything on my own. This gift oddly makes me a better educator, a better AVID mom, and a better person. To my AVID site team, I do not say it enough, but thank you. Thank you for leading me with love over the past 4 years. To my AVID students, thank you for following in the footsteps of this legacy. You led me with love and laughter when I so desperately needed it, whether you realized it or not. AVID has helped reshape my teaching philosophy. No longer am I convinced that as an individual teacher, I can successfully reach one student at a time. I have witnessed with my own eyes how necessary one support system is. For me, it began when I recognized that all students, including those students, were deserving of a support system, someone to believe in them when they didn't even believe in themselves. This philosophy transferred to my own AVID class. I saw the benefit of helping build a support system to mold these 25 individuals stronger as one family. As a result of AVID, I now see the purpose one support system can have on a single teacher. Student success may start with AVID, but I am convinced teacher success starts here too. Thank you.